Welcome to DBN's The Diplomats. I'm here with Keith Wurstel from North Carolina and very special guest star, Michalis Kamaritis, world champion. Middle of the night. He's here because he loves diplomacy. And you know what?
I wouldn't miss it for the world, Ed.
This show may not be the best, but we have the best music, Keith.
We do.
We have the best music. It beats the hell out of Game Day Live. I'm telling you that right now. All right, we're here to talk about Nexus Season 10. Can't believe it's around for 10 seasons. Main event. Michalis, I know you know nothing about this game, and because of software systems and Dipcast, many of the players are, quote, unknown when we show up the map. So here we go. We have Claire Bradbury, the number 1 seed, picked France. Justin, who's also Australian, and we sometimes call him Chris, is Germany. Dan, who goes by Ramon, I don't know what it is for all these pseudonyms, is in Russia. Kellen, I just know him as Kellen. He's in England. Bam is a very good Canadian player. Not that the others aren't very good, but just to let you know, out of Canada. Gianmarco, not going well in this game for Gianmarco, but he's a super nice fellow out of Italy. And Dave Roberts, who I assume not only you've probably played in a few games with and against Dave. So those are the players, and we'll show you the game sort of quickly in quick format view. And since no one reads the board quicker than you, it'll be fine.
That might be a little quick if it's speeding at that rate.
So the only thing I like to know is Tuscany and the old school Turkish opening.
I do have to say Justin is my hero for taking Germany second in Paris.
Yeah.
That's the mark of a world champion.
Yeah.
I like it.
Look at these fall 01 moves with Germany getting 3 builds, Russia getting 2, seemingly okay with Turkey here, Italy just convoying, Claire doing... And England getting bounced, not good for England. All right, and then we can see the builds.
Double fleet.
In return for the 2 builds, for the extra build as Germany, rather. Makes sense.
That's what we thought as well. Things get a little spicy, as they always do in 1902. You can see England trying to go for Helgoland and Skagerrak. Germany and France have a lot of trust here with all these joke orders to Armenia.
Yep.
Italy advancing on Turkey, and Austria taking Bulgaria. And then we weren't sure at the time if Russia was invited into the black or not, because there still seems to be some mistrust. But then we go to the fall. In the fall, we see this beautiful convoy. Directly into Khan with the army. And we see Germany getting the North Sea.
Oh, Russia flip sides helped Germany into that's interesting. Surprising.
I think Russia pulled him down because of that extra fleet. He didn't know if it was going to Baltic. And then once it didn't go to Baltic, he was back on side. But it looked like at the end of this year, it looks like it's a sea line and an air, which I was like, the way it's shaping up, it's Italy and Germany that have really the leverage with Russia, and he needs to ensure that one of them stays on side.
So as we were talking, we gave Russia the highest grade at the end of 1902. France, I think we both liked, although I admonished Claire for no bounces and not protecting Burgundy. And then we looked at Italy as another power we liked. Of the 3 of them, and then sort of looking at Austria and Germany as doing well, but on the outside, and England and Turkey. The game's not over yet, but it doesn't look great. And before we even begin, what do you think about this Italian army in Khan, the convoy there?
I like it if I'm Russia. You don't really want the fleet getting next to Black Sea. So that's why I'm happy to support an army in and less happy to support a fleet in. It also is quite easy followed up against Smyrna, so all very sensible, all very smart. The real question is, like, what is Austria going to do? Like, I've told you before, Ed, on interviews or whatever, about how I think Air is a very Austria-friendly alliance, and they have 5 armies sat there doing Jack and something else right now. So, are they going to flip on Russia? Are they going to flip on Italy? Are they going to go to the line? That's really the big question for me.
Keith?
Like I said, I always think of the game in terms of Russia, especially in Russia's in 2 triples right now. And I just want to see what Italy and Germany are doing. Germany has held these armies. Italy has held Tuscany. These armies are going to do something. And if I'm Russia, I need to know what they're doing, and I need them to do something that's not against me. So if he can get one side, he's good.
Yeah.
So.
All right, Keith, you'll take the East, but run it through spring 1903. Or the West, Keith.
All right. In the West, we see a failed order to convoy to Wales. Looks like we went to Irish instead. Yes.
No, it must be a misorder. You don't
it's a misorder.
Convoy Picardy to Irish Sea rather than to Wales.
Yeah, it's a failed convoy.
The channel messed the order up.
Which is very fortunate because Munich does run into Burgundy with support. So taking that army off out to the island would have been a horrible thing. Meanwhile, Justin also stabs Dan in Sweden and going to Skagerrak. So it definitely appears that Justin is attacking everybody in the West. Looks like Dan is shuffling his units backwards because he anticipates an Austrian stab, because Austria has been tapping and attacking him nonstop. So I think he wants to hedge his bets by moving back. Craig puts a little bit of distance to make sure that Italy doesn't come west, which allows Justin just to walk straight into everything to the east. And that is the West, other than Italy jumping into Piedmont real quick.
I definitely have a lot of questions, but McAllis, why don't you just give us the overview of the East, and then I'll start asking.
Well, the East is Austria has made their move. They have no interest in going to the line. They've got up. They've supported themselves to Galicia, supported themselves to Rum. Rum didn't work. I don't think they'll have expected that to work. Galicia is the key move there, though. Italy also pulls the army down into Smyrna, which lets Russia walk into Ankh in the little daisy chain. Whether they can hold it in fall is a different matter entirely. But if something's attacking Con, then it's probably doable. And Italy sends stuff west, Piedmont, Mediterranean Sea, Tunis. So AI are clearly in cahoots, and it looks very much like a central triple.
It does look like a central triple. It's the first thing I thought of when I saw this, just because the units weren't doing anything. They were trying to get the corners cleared out as much as possible before they jumped. It reminds me of our Russia, Austria, Germany game, where I had to make an EF and fight it myself. And I think that's even worse for Justin here, because he didn't have Russia at all. So he's 3-on-1. And then if Italy's going west, we already said in the previous episode that on a top board, your dots are on your side. And it seems like everyone's vacating except for Austria for the most part. And so I think with Germany being really tied up, if Austria wants to stab Italy, there's really nothing that Germany can do to stop it. So as things shape up the way they are, it's Dave's game to lose.
So,
is Germany
okay.
that tied up?
Okay.
Is Germany what?
Like, is Germany that tied up? Like, this backfill into Sweden and move to Skagerrak behind, because it's worked. It's brilliant turn. Like, they're not going to be kicked out of Sweden. They can hold on to it. They have North Sea to make an attack on Norway, and that Edinburgh to Clyde move, I think, is very important here. I think this was coordinated with England. This was England trusting there wouldn't be a convoy to Yorkshire, that they can go and cover Liverpool, and they're not worried about Edinburgh. So I think Germany does actually have a friend. I think it's England.
If Germany has England on side, then it's a wonderful position. Then I think it's much better, because then he doesn't have a person he's really sharing with. He has just as a janissary.
Yep.
Germany may have England on side for one turn. It remains to be seen how long that will last. But do we think this is a happy accident that Claire misordered, or do we think Claire suspected something? I think it's a misorder. Otherwise, she would have bounced in Burgundy or something. But it ends up being okay for her that this misorder. I would imagine how bad it would be if the army got to Wales.
I think she suspected the Italian. I think that's what the two armies going south for. I think she realized Italy was coming, but I don't think she realized Germany was.
Agreed.
And if Germany thought that there was this convoy to Wales, and Claire seems to be a very alliance pro player, that she probably would have told this to Germany. It makes even more sense that Germany does this, right? I mean, it's hard enough to get the jump on France.
How wonderful it would have been if that army did get to Wales. This is walking everything.
It's like, God, poor Germany's like, I couldn't even get that, I did this great move, and still, this game is hard. People have to write their orders correctly. I'm curious what either of you think about. I'm going to suspect we all agree that Denmark, Sweden's agreed, but Skagerrak, is this just to ensure getting the fleet of Helgoland out to North Sea, or I assume that Claire thought it would be tapping London, but not going to Norwegian for play on Edinburgh. I mean, what's your read of is it anti-Russian? Is Germany actually fighting Russia on two fronts?
I think so.
Yeah. I don't think Sweden's agreed at all. I think that Denmark and Sweden were supposed to be vacated here, and that probably Denmark should go to the North Sea, and maybe North goes to Norwegian.
Yeah, I suspect the agreement was Russia pulls the fleet to Norway to do the GR against France and pull the fleet round. That's where Russia's done those moves. And instead, Germany's just slid in behind. This is probably in coordination with Austria as well, right? I think this is Austria, Italy, Germany, strong coordination. 2 people move on France, 2 people move on Russia.
So both of you raised the idea of a central triple, which for those newer to the game, is a Germany, Austria, Italy alliance. The 3 central powers team up to fight. I always find this to be a platitude expressed a lot in press and in other games, but very few times do I see it followed through upon. And I don't know if either. I mean, I'd imagine both Keith and you, McAllis, have a lot of experience, particularly in your press games. What do you think of the Western Triple? I generally don't like it because if I'm Germany, I'm like, well, how am I getting help? Does that mean I have to fight EF? But here, Italy is joining in. So
You mean Central Triple? Yeah.
Central Triple, yeah.
Generally, if I'm doing a Central Triple, I want the West to be taken care of first because the East resolves too quickly and I'm stuck there. Obviously, Justin has a little bit better position than normal Germany's do, but I would prefer Italy open West because it's easier to collapse the other side.
I think that Germany's played it right if you're going to do a central triple. Like, the key to a central triple being successful is you have to get EF fighting each other and in a position that it's quite hard for them to disengage from. You don't necessarily have to kill one than the other, because if you kill England quickly, then France, we all know how hard France is to kill. That can be very challenging. But doing it pretty much like this, England's confined to the island. They've lost their Scandinavian position, but they can work with you against France, who's the bigger threat to their remaining centres. I think this is very nice from Germany, and this is sort of how you want to do a central triple. If you kill one Westerner first, the problem with that is that the other Westerner is so hard to dig out for Germany. It doesn't matter which one it is, either. Like, if you kill France first, then where's Germany's fleet power to take down England by themselves? Probably non-existent. So the key is for neither of them to be strong enough to resist.
So one of the questions I have here is this. On the one hand, you would think France, if you're right, that Germany and Russia are fighting each other, Russia and France would have a common enemy in Germany. And I guess France has an enemy in Italy. But what is the Italian-Russian situation? I mean, it seems like they have some level of cooperation. Maybe I'm just wrong, or this was just Russia freelancing the tap on Ankara, which got in. But
I think they beautifully used
working
Russia
with and maybe ultimately fighting Russia.
I think they just used them in the short term to get what they needed to clear out England and Turkey. He's not useful anymore.
I think from Italy's perspective, right, you're going to be on Austria's side here, at least in the early stages, but you don't want Russia to die quickly. Like, Italy is probably going to take a couple of years to take over the Iberian area. If Austria runs through Russia in that time before you finished in Iberia, then Austria will have a absolutely dominant position over you, and you will not be able to reverse that because there's no one left to help. So you don't want Russia to die too quickly and Austria to just waltz through everything. So Italy, like, I don't think Italy will be upset that Russia's in Ankh, and I think that they will attack on, and if Russia keeps Ankh because of that, great. I don't think that Italy is going to help Austria too much, but they're also not going to actively put Russia into an Austrian dot or anything or start a war like that. That's not what you do when you've just committed west with 3 units.
I like to think of myself as a German expert, but we actually have a real world champion who plays Germany on the show. And I will give my bias here. It's always tricky on whether to attack Germany or not, depending on the East. You famously did not in your world champion in championship. Ruben was playing Russia, and you worked with Ruben because you wanted him to be a buffer against the East. In this situation, there's you want Russia to, if you want to prop up Russia, maybe taking Norway isn't the best idea in the fall here. Maybe it is the right idea. Romania is going to be lost. It's a balancing act. And how do each of you, first McAllister and Keith, think about that?
So for me, there's a big difference between this game and the top board in Athens for WDC. Is the reason that I was so keen to prop Russia up was that from a strategic sense on the board, there was a big turkey. And the big turkey, there was no Austria. Like, Austria was essentially dead. Who's going to contain the big turkey? If Russia blows up, that big turkey is probably, because they always have tiebreak on me, that's going to be really hard to beat Dan Lester in Turkey if Russia's dead. So I'm very pro-Russia in that regard. Like, in the first couple of years, there was an AT in that game. So again, you want to slow down the AT. Then after that, Turkey stabbed Austria. But the problem was always the big turkey. So that was one big reason for working with Russia. And the other was that I was in an FG with Bradley, and Nicola was in Italy, who is, I didn't believe was ever going to charge west like with any strength, which meant that if I probably would get in a war with Bradley at some point, and Ruben having more fleets in the north to help me would be the way I win that war against Bradley. So that was very much my perspective in that game, is I needed Russian help against France, and I needed Russia to contain Turkey. In this game, is either of them true? You certainly don't need Russia to contain Turkey. That's not a consideration. Do you need Russian help in the north? Not if you've got English help. Not if you can get England as a junior. For me, the person that Germany really prioritizes most is Italy in this scenario. Italy is the crucial balancer for you, because it's Austria that will need containing. It's the Austrian armies you'll be concerned about later. And if Italy is strong and has taken Iberia down with you, Austria is not a big problem. If Italy is weak and gets held up in Iberia, Austria becomes a huge problem.
Keith, any thought? Oh, before you do that, well, this is fine though. You can leave the map as it lies, Keith. Do you? I mean, kind of going to Ankara, it was a little bit of maybe Italy and Austria were just fine with that, because it means that Romania
Is theirs.
Can be taken, assuming Turkey or Italy doesn't tap Bulgaria.
Yeah,
But I think
seems like a misfortunate walk-in. I think he's just trying to break support for Italy, and it puts them out of position completely. So he has a decision.
I don't think it's that. I actually think it's quite good for Russia, because Romania's lost either way. I think don't even bother trying to defend Romania. Sebastopol taps Armenia. The chances are very high that something is going to attack Con, that they won't just let Turkey hold it. So I think you've got a good chance of holding Ankh if you just cut Armenia here.
All right. So before, I haven't seen the movie.
Maybe you've got to deal with Italy and put them in Con so they can keep both.
Yep.
There's not much Russia can do to help Turkey here, though, right? I guess.
Turkey's not a friend to Russia. Like, you want those Turkish
Right.
units off the board.
Yeah. And keeping Turkey alive is just going to piss off any potential ally you can have to peel off from AI.
Yeah, you really want to accelerate Italy as much as possible. If Italy can, like, they don't have a Turkish problem and they don't have a French problem, then Italy can come to your aid. Italy will not come to your aid before that.
The other question I have for you is, if you were England, if you were Kellen, and I will tell you, McAllister, I don't think you know Kellen. Imagine the most bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, furry little animal that you just want to play with because he's so cute and he's friendly. And I'm not saying he's not intelligent. He's intelligent, but super. It seems like a super genuine, interested, happy to be here guy. Germany's saved you a little bit, although Germany's in the North Sea. On the other hand, Claire is going to be pretty desperate for a friend right now, I would imagine, given Germany and Italy gang up. Does Kellen have any incentive here to maybe not work with Germany and work with Claire a bit? Because one hallmark of these games is a lot happens in between every turn. Alliances shift all the time. I'd be looking up there. How about, what do y'all think?
I think Kellen needs to do whatever he needs to do to get those fleets away from him so he can actually start projecting power. If that means working with Justin to push the French fleets back now and then taking north later, he's got to see what the best deal is.
I think from Kellen's perspective, if Germany is about to get in a big war for Scandinavia, let them. Like, that means North Sea is going the other direction. That's what you want. So I'm not going to slow down Germany against France. I think that the danger of siding with France here is that if Germany doesn't make any progress against France, why would Germany keep attacking France? It's very easy for them to just get back together. So I'm much more interested in making sure Germany actually progresses. You get rid of the French fleets that way, they will always be a threat to you. And you hope that Germany doesn't roll Russia too quickly and that their fleets get tied up around Norway and St. Petersburg. And then you get a chance to come back into the game, maybe with Italian help later on.
Generally, as a principle, as England, if I'm in this position, I always side with Germany because blowing up Germany is easier to balance than a big France.
Well, I don't know. For me, in this situation, I might. If I agree with you, if I'm England, right, because Germany has this situation to where he's incentivized for your fleets to want to help you west, and it's so hard for England to make progress there. And so I could see why Germany, would pitch all of this. I'm not sure if I would take it as England, but if you're Germany, does the thought run through your mind that if you think you have England on side here and Italy's putting a lot of pressure now on France, maybe I just convoy Belgium to Edinburgh, move Burgundy back to Belgium with Ruhr support. The plan's back on. I've just slowed my ally Claire a bit. Do you think that could happen?
Seems unlikely.
That's how I think.
I think there's a big danger in that. You're upsetting Italy, which means that they're not going to be inclined to help you should you have an Austrian problem. B, if you're leaving Italy in a one-on-one with France because you've backed out, why would Italy continue that fight? Like, Italy's probably also going to go, screw this, I'm out. So then all you've done is break a lot of trust with people for no tangible benefit. Like, oh, I've got Edinburgh. I probably could have got that without breaking all this trust for a year. You've spent so much of your trust resource to gain essentially nothing. So I'd hate that move, I think. Especially if you can get England as a janissary. Like, why would you not want England as a janissary here? That's such a good deal on the top board.
And Justin's so charismatic. This really surprises me because I assumed that Justin would pick one or maybe even two people in the West. And it seems like he's fine fighting everybody. So
the only Australian who doesn't ally with either Western power.
No.
All right, so we've talked about it enough. Let's reveal the truth. Let's see if Ramon, the crafty player, can get out of this situation. Keith, take us in the West.
All right. Looks like England and Germany are working together to take the Channel. The English fleet moves, which is a choice. France pulls back to the Mid-Atlantic, bounces Italy out of Marseille, while the Italians take position around Spain. Picardy is lost. Germany is putting position onto Paris, backfilling Belgium. And it looks like Russia is trying just to defend its only dot. So
Russia here is the order supports London to North Sea.
Yes, London to North Sea. So everyone's petitioning England to do something, and he has chosen Germany.
He has chosen.
Looks like Claire has specifically chose to leave England alone, trying to curry favor, disbands the fleet, just so in case they lost position, they can rebuild. I think everyone's doing pro-English moves, hoping that he will turn their direction.
I'll come back and ask questions because I have a lot of them, but let's go to the East. Although the East, McAllis has a lot of Italian movement in the West, but we can. I'll let you handle it however you like.
I think the East is mostly what we kind of expected there. So yeah, Italy is obviously pushed the line to Lyon to West. Didn't get into Marseille, wouldn't have expected to. Does retake Constantinople, and the key thing there is Russia does tap Armenia. They recognize that Ankara is very holdable. They cut that support. They make sure that they don't lose everything. Romania's blown up. That's kind of expected as well. Nice bounce in Ukraine by Austria to stop Russia evacuating the army. And then the other key move is Russia's decided to go Warsaw to Silesia. So Russia clearly blames Germany more than they blame Austria for this. I think that's a real insight into their sort of psychological frame of mind right now, that they are most angry at Germany. And so that's where they decided to send their armies.
I also think that it may not even be a mad thing. It may be the only person that's on my side is France, and I need to get as close to them as possible so I have some kind of front. The other thing that's worth noting is Ankara is putting Aegean in the con. So Russia's still trying to pull on the heartstrings of Italy, saying you don't have to do this.
We say goodbye to Gianmarco, the winner of my semifinal game. Gianmarco, you were the people's choice. You were my choice, but you were not the people's choice on this board.
Unfortunately, Smirna Khan destroyed him. He was out of position for the entire game after that. He just couldn't react fast enough.
This is not the first time. Yeah, go ahead, McAllis.
So this is like, there's no shame on Gianmarco. Like, this is, Turkey isn't favored on top boards because this happens to Turkey on a lot of top boards. Like, this is not exactly some unique set of circumstances where we're going, oh, Turkey dead by 1903 on a top board. This is groundbreaking. No, this is pretty common, and this is it's why it's unfavored. And so, unfortunately,
we can't blame you for one thing, Gianmarco. You could have picked Austria as opposed to Turkey, but it didn't work out. All right, so I have questions about some of the moves. I really like. I mean, really like Austria just putting 3 on Romania and going to Ukraine. I know we've talked about that before, but if players are looking at this, it's not a guaranteed move set, okay, for this to happen. But it's kind of guaranteed in the sense that Sevastopol probably has to tap Armenia. And I just think this is really good by Dave. Anyone have any additional thoughts on that?
I mean, the only way it's not a guaranteed move is if Turkey cut ball, because there isn't something in Black Sea to hold it. So even if Sev holds Rum, you've still got 2-on-1. I mean, I think it's a pretty safe gamble that Turkey is not, as their dying breath in this game, going to cut Bulgaria to help Russia out. I think you'd be very surprised if that's what Turkey did there. So I think that it's just smart play, right? Like, the benefit of cutting Ukraine is you can stop that Russian army evacuating. And if you can blow up a Russian army so that they have to keep more units up north rather than units down south, that's exactly what you want when you're attacking Russia. So it's just a really nice order set overall.
What do you think about the scissor cut in Norway?
That is my next question. We get a lot of feedback from newer players learning the game. And I was going to ask you, Keith, but I'll ask Mikhail since you did the same question. What is a scissor cut? Why would someone do it? And what would the purpose be here?
So in this situation, the reason that he's double cutting Norway to make sure that it can't support anything, I don't really understand that here. I think that just making a supported attack on Norway does the same job. Like,
correct.
If Norway was attacking Sweden with Finland support, you still just trade Norway and Finland by supporting Skagerrak in. So there's not a downside to it, and so yeah, doesn't really matter either way. It was important, I think, to cut it with something rather than to support out Sweden, because what you can do is block Norway supporting something into North Sea is exactly what it tried to do here. So I do like cutting it in general, but I don't really understand why Sweden has to also cut.
I think Sweden is cutting it because of the London to North Sea potential. But I guess it would...
Skagerrak cuts that as well, right? Like, the only thing that a Sweden cut would be for is if you were worried something was attacking Skagerrak, and
right.
nothing can attach Skagerrak, so it's not actually
sure, but there's nothing else for Sweden to do. So it can work in other
support Skagerrak to Norway.
Yeah,
I guess could do that.
Yeah, that's probably the optimal move.
Okay, so thumbs down to Chris or Justin or Chris for doing scissor cut. Good idea. Wrong time. All right, and I guess you guys are pro the idea of Kellen siding with Germany here.
For now.
Yeah.
There's a time and a place for everything. The time and the place for now is to side with Germany until they're enmeshed up in Scandinavia. Like the goal, I think, for England next year is get Germany out of North Sea. That's everything. Once you've done that, then you can choose who to side with.
Yep.
I think it's notable that they kept Clyde in Clyde. They didn't just cover Liverpool with it and put them in a position where they have to send it south. They've kept that ability to go up to Norwegian, to cover Edinburgh. I think England is keeping their options open, being a little bit flexible.
And I think there's a reason for that also, which is Kellen must know that North Sea is supporting London to English Channel, and so is not moving, and also doesn't want to give up a free center of Edinburgh. And so I agree. I think that was an excellent self-bounce in Liverpool. Also, McAllis, it wasn't quite done the way you suggested in your diplomacy briefing article, but you have floated the idea. You've stated many times that, well, I think you stated different things, that Italy and Russia seem to be your favorite countries to play. It's like having two best friends. But you have, okay, you're I guess it's Italy. You've promoted the Western attack in the past, and France has really benefited in the modern meta from Italy not going west a lot. But what do you think about it?
I like it in this scenario. I think the key to any Italian attack on France is, do you have Germany? I don't actually give a damn whether you have England or not. I think England is actually irrelevant to whether you go west, because if England is attacking France, the centres England is going to want are Brest and then Portugal and Spain, which are two centres that you want from going west. So you're just changing one enemy for another. If you've got Germany on side, that's the real key, because the dots that Germany wants from an attack on France aren't really the dots that you want. Like, it's a much easier split, and it's a much more stable alliance as a result, because but Germany has no reason not to support Italy into Marseille. England has a lot of reason not to support Italy into Spain if England's got to Mao. So the fact that you've got Germany attacking as well means I like this Italian attack. I think if you're doing it by yourself or you're doing it just in collaboration with England, it's not very stable long term.
Okay. Keith, any other things that you would like to go over as we head into builds?
I'm just excited to see where Kellen goes. Like I said, the first virtual game he played was against me and Katie Gray, and we had an EG and he was France, and we had started to clean him out, and he's just like, hey, I'll just do whatever you need me to do. And we kept him on 5 and pushed him across, and we had a Western triple. So he's very pliable of what he needs to do, but considering everyone in the West has attacked him, including Russia, I really want to see who he chooses, because I think he's just a nice person, and that's going to show you the charismatic angle that the West is, who's going to win, because everyone in the West is super charismatic. I'm not to say the East isn't, but I just know those players very well, and they're all bleeding heart social players. So
I think Kellen will be delighted to see Russia and Silesia. This is exactly what you want. You want Germany and Russia as tied up into each other as possible. So I think Kellen, even more than Claire, will be delighted to see Russia and Silesia here and sending armies that way. This is exactly the lifeline he wants.
In many ways, Kellen has an extraordinary amount of power, because if you have an alliance of 3, Germany, Italy, and Austria, and you have an alliance of 2 in France and Russia, to have any chance, that alliance of 2 really needs England on board. And what is England's incentive to come on board? England's incentive is to survive and then hopefully thrive. So that dynamic is really important, as are the builds.
Kellen voluntarily gave up Norway trying to buy a friend in Russia, and then so I'm hoping, I would assume that he'd want something in return if he wants to flip sides. So
I think Russia doing what they did on Norway is, I think, more damaging to long-term trust than either France or Germany just attacking you out the gate, because there was a clear and obvious deal with Russia, and Russia broke that deal. So I would be surprised if Kellen is pro-Russia over pro-Germany or pro-France in this situation. I think that Russia has done more damage to a relationship than either of the other two. I think it'll be much easier to establish friendly relations with either Germany or France.
So I think the builds are interesting, some of these questions. Let's start with Austria. Can build an army in Budapest or Trieste, or a fleet in Trieste. I very much doubt a fleet will be coming down, but I could see an argument either way for Trieste or Budapest in this situation. Gentlemen, what do you think?
I think Army Budapest, just because Italy has had that army in Tuscany. Like, they've had a DMZ in Venice the entire time. I think it'd be pretty rude for Austria to drop an army here in Trieste. I think if I was the Italian player, I would just be extremely upset. Like, you gave him all this space and he's going to put it there. I don't know.
What possible justification do you have for building in Trieste here? Like, who are you making? You've just attacked Russia. You're telling it, it's just to get Russia on board. Like, you're full on attacking them.
No, I'm going to support myself up to Bohemia from Vienna, and Trieste needs to go to Tyrolia, and we need to put pressure on the line. Now, I would be selling that.
And then Germany doesn't feel very good if you have a central triple.
Yeah, and then Germany's not helping Italy take those Iberian dots because they're pulling everything back. This isn't what Italy wants.
You guys have a lack of vision. I could sell that army Trieste if I was Austria. Okay, France has a build, can only build in Brest, and I guess theoretically build a fleet or an army. Keith, what do you think?
They disbanded the fleet. It gives them options, but doesn't give them a whole lot of options. I hate only having one fleet as France, but it really depends on if I need it to buy English loyalty or not. I'd probably still build a fleet.
I think fleet is the right move. I think that the armies give you nothing. If you can turn this around diplomatically, won't matter, because tactically you won't be able to do anything. Right. But one thing that the army does do is sticks one giant middle finger up at Germany. So if you are really, really annoyed at Germany and you put down that army, you can say, I don't care if Italy takes the south. Italy's going to get all of the south. You're going to get nothing. And that is essentially what that army does, is just say, screw you, Germany. Italy, have what you want.
I kind of think she'll build an army. Because I somewhat think it's important for two reasons. One is it is a sop to Kellen. It is telling Kellen, look, you can still attack me. Obviously, you can cut Mid-Atlantic. You can do all this stuff, but I am zero threat to you now. Go put some pressure on Germany. I think that's her only real chance. Whether it works or not is a different question. But the other thing is sometimes you got to pick a side as France. And a lot of Austrians get greedy. I don't know if Dave Roberts is as greedy as the average Austria, but sometimes when you see Italy and Spain or Mid-Atlantic are making a lot of progress west, if you're one of those Eastern powers like Austria and you're like, you might take advantage of that. And Claire kind of not fighting against Italy, at least in Spain, it could make some sense.
Unbalancing the triple, yeah. Like, this is the way if you're being attacked by a triple, and this is, even though Austria is not directly attacking her, it is a triple. Unbalancing that alliance in favor of one is a good way to break that triple. You can't unbalance it in favor of Germany. A, they're at war with Russia. They're not really going to be able to take enough advantage. And B, if you unbalance it in favor of Germany, you're just dead. Like, there's no coming back. If you unbalance it in favor of Italy, you can pull Austria into doing something about it and giving you a path back. So I agree.
Yep.
Now, the German build, which I can almost state with 100% certainty will not be a fourth fleet.
That'd be hilarious.
We have to consider the way.
Fleet Berlin.
I think it probably has to be Army Berlin.
Army Berlin.
But it just put Germany in a real pickle here. That third fleet has been helpful, but the luck may be running out because Burgundy's needed to cover Munich, and if Russia's not fighting Austria, this is another way of destabilizing it. Germany looks like, he might get the highest grade in some ways, but on the other hand, this is quite the problem. What do you y'all think?
I mean, Army Berlin is the only choice with the Russian army, and so you don't have any flexibility. But I agree, it's not great. It's the problem really is that leaving of Ruhr going into Belgium there, which was needed because England's taking Channel and you were going for Picardy, but it's left you very vulnerable, and you don't really want to cover Munich with Burgundy. You can do a self bounce, but then France might kick you out with Burgundy. It's not a great position to be in. If Belgium was still in Ruhr, this position would be great. I think that they obviously just didn't predict that Russia would react by going into Silesia. So
I don't think a self bounce is terrible because Picardy can tap Paris, which would be fine. Because most likely Marseille is getting tapped, so the France would have to decide if their dots are more important than Burgundy.
If that's what I think Germany is doing as France, I'm supporting Marseille to Burgundy with Gascony, and I'm supporting myself to Picardy to try and blow Picardy up.
And I think the next build question, the last one, is the Italian build. Any build available is there for Italy. I'm liking Fleet Naples here, but I can see a case for an army. What do y'all think? Army Rome, convoy to Spain. There's lots of little things that I guess can't happen, but yeah.
This is a nice build. Like there's all of them pretty much are justifiable, with the probable exception of Fleet Venice.
Even Fleet Venice
sure you can get away with that one.
Even Fleet Venice seems okay. It's like, yeah, I'm defending. I can't run into your territory. Trieste is the only thing there, but it gives them some kind of defense that doesn't seem like my army's there to attack you. Like I think you can spin it.
You just draw. That's like a magnet to get Austria to come and attack you. That's horrible.
All right, I predict Fleet Naples, but you guys.
Fleet Naples is, I think, the obvious build. I do like the army build a lot in that what you really want to be doing as Italy in the long run here is taking Iberia and turning back. You're not going to want to go up and fight in England on the top board. And to turn back, you're going to want your fleets to come back, but you don't want to be leaving Iberia empty when you do that. So another army over there makes a lot of sense for doing that. The armies can hold that area. You'd level like one Piedmont, one Spain or Marseille, whatever, while your fleets come back. And I think that's a lot better in the long run than taking it with fleets. Just the fleets, you're not going to be leaving a fleet over in Spain later on.
Let's go look. Keith, you have a prediction on the build.
Yeah, I think with the central triple, Fleet Naples makes the most sense. Although
I would do it, but I would hate that build if I was Italy. I'd just be so
it's
worried.
so exposed, but Bam has shown so much restraint as Italy, and I don't think he's gotten the same courtesy from Dave Roberts here. But so far, they haven't attacked each other. But yeah, I would feel more comfortable with an army. That would show less trust.
The most dangerous thing in diplomacy is to say, "I just need to get through this turn." If you're thinking that, the stab is coming. That's one thing I've learned. Every time I have that thought, I'm like, all right, fix it.
All armies.
Army Rome. Army.
Right.
Okay.
I like it.
Army Brest. Army Berlin. Army Budapest. Army Rome. I'm actually kind of happy with that build for
Bam.
BAM. I
Yeah,
think
I like it a lot. I think that that's prioritizing the long term over the short term. And you're making the gamble in the short term that Austria is not about to gut you going into Ionian Sea, which I think is quite a reasonable gamble to make when they're at war with Russia.
Yep.
What do you want from that fleet in Greece now if you're Italy? You don't really want it in Aegean, and you don't really want it in Ionian.
You wouldn't.
I don't think you really want it to just stay there. What'd you say, Michaelis?
Bulgaria South Coast. That's where you want it parked.
That's where you want it, yeah.
Move the armies north, put the fleet into Bulgaria South Coast. Please, thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay. Grades. We do the grades alphabetical order by country. Austria's grade. Austria, who I had on the outside looking in at the end of 2002, has taken Romania, has 6 armies, has a Russia on the run as an Italian ally. Grades. Keith.
It's an A for me. Dave's been playing bad cop the entire time, attacking Russia and Turkey at the same time, while his sleeper cell agents in Germany and Italy have been playing it nice. And so I think that the position's good. He's got a build, and I think they're going to be pissed at the other two in the central triple more than him, because at least he didn't lie to them.
Michaelis.
A, or as we have in Britain, A star. Like he's moved essentially no units, and every single one of his neighbors has moved all their units away from him. Like it does not get better than that. That was an absolutely beautiful year diplomatically. Brilliant, love it.
It's an A++ for me. Can't get 3 pluses, Dave, without more than one build. But here's the thing that Keith alluded to, which I think is so right, and it's something I need to learn, which is sometimes being a hard ass pays off. He was never not dealing. He was always fighting Russia and letting Italy and Turkey and Germany and whatever do all the other heavy lifting. And when it came time, I don't know if it's time, but when it seemingly came time for Russia to pick, Russia's like, you know what? Fuck it. I respect you. At least you just fought me the whole time. The others kind of manipulated me a bit. You didn't. And now you may profit. He hasn't profited yet, but
the Silesia move is huge, though.
The Silesia move is huge. Props to Austria. England's grade. England staring death in the face, as bad as Gianmarco, with fleets in the English Channel, Irish, and North Sea, with units ready to convoy onto the island. Not only gets 2 of those fleets out of there, doesn't lose anything, has a friend who needs him in Germany, despite Germany being in the North Sea, and has a friend in France who needs him, and has a Russia who needs him. It's coming up aces for me, Kellen. I mean, all right, Michaelis, I'll let you go grade Kellen first.
I think it's an A. I think that I can't imagine a better 1903 than that went for England. Like, Like you can say, oh, they didn't get a build. Oh, they didn't charge in on Germany and get magically into build. No, those are not realistic scenarios. In any realistic scenario, this was the best case. And the fact that they kept the fleet in Clyde, didn't pull it down to Liverpool, and gave themselves some flexibility going forward, I love it. So for that alone, yeah, an A.
Keith?
In my old scoring system, this would have been a C because this is what is expected. But this is definitely an A. He got a disband and a rebuild as an army in Brest. Irish left. He got German support down. He got Russian support into North Sea. So even though he's on Germany's side, he can flip to anyone he wants at any time. And so all I need is North Sea gone. The tactics around Liverpool perfect. Nothing could have gone better. This is an amazing comeback because 90% of people would probably be dead in this position.
Like, we're not saying that going forward, this is a great English position. You obviously, if you're subbing into this game, England's still not the country you want to be. But from the circumstances that they had at the start of the year to the end, I think they maximised those circumstances. Good stuff.
Absolutely.
Can't say any more. It's an A+ for me. But what I also just want to point out is this is the beauty of press. Because in a face-to-face game or a virtual game with short time limits, I can almost guarantee you the attack continues. We just continue. We've just built a little trust. But with 2 days to work on people and 2 days for people to work on you, you get to see this sort of dynamic play that we don't always see in face-to-face. It's one of the reasons I absolutely love press. And all three of us have been in this position in press and have turned situations around, and there's nothing more satisfying. We're not saying you're going to win, Kellen. Don't get too excited. You might, but
he's not out yet.
There's nothing more satisfying than this. So enjoy. I'm sure you have been enjoying this for the last 4 or 5 days since the moves went through. All right. And it certainly beats the F pluses that you received at the end of 1902 from us, Kellen. All right, so France. Imagine a worse year for France when France doesn't lose a dot, but is now down to one fleet with enemy units seemingly in English Channel, Picardy, Burgundy, Piedmont, Lyon, and Western Med for good measure. Claire, strong alliance player. Just ask her. Hasn't built one. Where do we grade her? Keith.
I'm gonna give this a D. She got a good stab. The only thing that was really fortunate was the misorder.
The best part of her game was a misorder. Thank God for the misorder.
Like, the army just is currying favor for England, hopefully, and maybe tells Germany to go away. But it's more of all of this might pay off next year or might just be horrible, but we'll find out. But yeah, it was not a good year.
Macaus.
Well, in much the same way that it's hard to imagine how England could have had a better year, it's hard to imagine how France could have had a worse year, right? Like, these are two opposite ends of the spectrum, and everything that could possibly have gone wrong did go wrong. So,
except for the misorder.
By that standards, it should probably be an F. I will up it. I will up it to a D, solely because of this rebuild as an army. I think this is the right move to try and get something back in this game and potentially, maybe in the long run, have a way back. And the next build, you can then hopefully try and put a fleet down if you can get Belgium back at some point, that sort of thing. Or even if an army is piffed, you can rebuild it as a fleet later. Like, it doesn't completely foreclose your options, and I think diplomatically it was the only sensible build. Do I think it's going to work? Not really, but I think that it is at least, like, it's a creative way of trying to solve a problem. So I will up it from an F to a D because of that.
D minus.
Pretty much.
It would be super hard to grade this, even under Keith's system, because hilariously, I think we are all using the right metric, which is what is the most or least you could have gained or lost in a season. Because my grade is a D minus. Claire, though, has 2 more units than England. And we gave England, a really good grade. But we're grading on this year. It can't, in my mind, be an F because she didn't lose anything, and she has options and did do the right thing, building an army breast. And we have seen France's, most notably Ewok's France, come back from worse than this.
But he ran out of time.
He ran out of time because Germany got spread out. And we've seen France's with 4 armies in 1 fleet, namely Jordan Connors, come back to win in a situation like this. I think maybe he had 2 fleets, though, if I'm remembering correct. Definitely 4 armies. I think Claire has the ability to do this. It's just whether people continue or not. They didn't continue on Kellen, but they did continue on Gianmarco. So, I don't know what 05 will hold, but it's only, or 04 will hold. It's only through 3 years. So I tell everybody in these games, there are going to be disappointments and there are going to be challenges for you. No one on a press top board has a glide path. Every one of these has moments of struggle. And this is Claire's moment of struggle. All right. Germany. What a momentous year. Gets 1 build in Sweden. Had 1 enemy before, which was England. Now has 2 enemies in Russia and France. Is in Burgundy, in the North Sea. We've seemingly lost McAllis. Keith, how do you grade Germany?
I'm going to give them a B. I think for the most part, the spring jump was amazing. Everything walked in perfectly. Getting in the English player on side is definitely a benefit too. The main reason this is kind of not an A is because the fall, we got that move to Silesia. I think Justin was expecting Russia to be a little bit more preoccupied with defending its core than coming after them. And got an army build in Brest, which is going to make it very hard to push into France. So I can see Germany stalling out if they don't get continuous help soon. But
Germany's entire game, in my estimation, rests on England.
And Italy.
Well, yeah, and Italy in the midterm. But right now, needs to have England on side.
Correct.
It is very difficult for me not to grade this an A, but I'm not giving it an A. And we got McAllis coming back. I agree that Germany in this situation doesn't deserve an A, even though the reason Germany doesn't deserve an A is only for one thing at all, which is a move that was not in his control, which was Warsaw to Silesia.
Diplomatically, it could have been in his control.
Well, yeah. So had he not been attacking Russia like that, or had that unit not be in Silesia, I definitely give Germany an A, if not higher, in the situation. And it is difficult to fault him for having Ruhr go and be the mover in 1903. But it did create this vulnerability, which he now faces, and he faces it, which is an objective fact. So I give him a B. Keith graded him a B, as did I, which is, it looks seemingly good. It's almost like a sugar high for Germany. We don't know how good it is. Also, I will say that third fleet is still a problem for you, Germany, even though I know McAllis likes third fleets whenever he can, but this third fleet has been nothing but problems for Germany.
I did hear everything. My camera appears to be overheating in the heat wave here, so I apologize for that.
No AC.
So, no, I think Germany, I like a lot of what they've done, but that Silesia move it's transformative. Like, if Russia is not in Silesia right now, I think this is a very easy A. Like, I think they've given themselves a fantastic platform going forward. They've got England back on side. They've done everything they need. Instead, Russia's still in. Russia's gone to Silesia. England's kept Clyde, so you haven't managed to negotiate them into putting that fleet down, which I think is also a missed opportunity. They've got a tough question around Munich. There's an easy way for Picardy to get popped if France wants to, and England does decide to flip. I actually don't like this German position very much at all, so I'm going to go for a C for this. I think so far, I've done my grades on what was the best possible scenario. Did you get close to it? And I don't think Germany did get close to the best possible scenario here. I think there are quite a few things that could have been better. And so I think, this could well be a platform to win the game by all means. But next year is going to be squeaky bum time, as they call it in sport here. You have to. As Ed said earlier, the most dangerous thing is I just have to get through this next turn. Germany just has to get through this next year. And if they come through it unscathed, they can turn this into a very easy A for next year. But for this year, there's too many challenges. I don't like it. See?
Italy is in Smyrna. Italy has launched seemingly an effective attack on the West, or at least on France, has a good ally in Austria, and built an army. McAllis, you're great for Italy.
A-star. I cannot imagine a year going better than that. This is absolutely everything you wanted has been ticked off. Austria has committed into Russia. Tick. You've got both Turkish dots and a good chance to take the third. Tick. You've got units that have gone west with a good chance of taking stuff because Germany's committed against France. Tick. You've built the army because you're thinking of the long term rather than the fleet because you're worried about the short term. Tick. This is beautiful. I love it. Like I think Italy had the best year of anyone. This was Austria. I also gave an A-star to, but I think Italy even better. This was a beautiful year.
A+ for me as well, just because everything McAllister says. Plus Army Brest and plus Ankara supported you in the con. Italy has no enemies here, and it has got nothing but growth in the future. So, kudos to them.
It's an A+ for me, but the issue here is, just like Germany, Italy's also vulnerable to Austria. I don't think Dave will pull the knife, but I can see some negotiations happening over Khan. There's a lot of Austrian armies. But I think Italy's safe. I think the relations have been very good, and I just love Italy's game, and I'm a big fan of Bam. Keith, I don't think it's a shock that you're a little biased towards Kellen. I'm a little biased towards Bam, and so I just think this has been fantastic.
One of the last press games I ever played during COVID, when I briefly got back into press, I did actually play with BAM and had a good fun alliance with them in a season of Nexus, whatever 2021 was. So I do actually have some experience playing with BAM quite a long time ago.
I just feel like BAM hasn't broken through, and I don't know why. Because in my mind, he is as equal as anybody in press. And then when you see players like Jordan or Ewok always making top boards, and this is just Bam's first, I don't understand it. Because in my interactions with Bam, also with Ramon, kind of the same thing. It's like everything is there, right? Like everything that you see in the very highest level of play. So I'm very happy for Bam.
Dan has been on the top board though, season 3.
Yeah, this is Ramon. Yeah, this is Dan/Ramon's second top board. Nothing. Took a break and it's come back.
5-year break.
Well. Yeah, and it's come back and done.
They played with me and went, screw this. I need to stop for a long time.
So it's a rough position for Russia here, but he did make, in McAllister's mind, a transformative move to Silesia and did not lose anything. That's the good news. Well, but gained Ankara.
They were piffed in Rum. That's why there wasn't a disband. They had the piff instead.
You're right. You're right. Down. Correct.
I'm one.
Okay.
There's a little chart next to it if you need to see it.
As we say, frequently wrong, but never in doubt. That's me. And I don't like the position going forward, but I don't know. It's hard to grade the year. McAllis, your grade of oh wait, you did Italy. So Keith, you're up.
I'm gonna give Russia's grade probably a D plus, a little bit better than Claire's, not by much. Still trying to buy friendship with anyone you can by making bold moves. Still went down, so a lot of it's just going to shake out in the next year. This year did not go well at all, but I think he has made the moves to make it the best he can for next year.
McAllis.
It's a tough one. Spring was about as bad as it could possibly have gone. I think that if you were just reading on spring along, I'd have trotted out the thing I did last time you guys invited me on and given a U for ungradable, the lovely extra British thing that we have over here. But I actually think that they played that fall very, very well. They did the correct thing. They cut Armenia to keep Ankara. They've given themselves a strategic region where the East might want to work with them by going to Silesia. So where does that balance out? I think Keith's probably right. D plus, it feels about right. Certainly this year could have gone a lot better. Like losing Germany as a friend is a big diplomatic failure that will cost you. Losing Austria, I think that's kind of surprised. Like, I don't think anyone is surprised to see Austria going into Russia like that. That was sort of expected. I'm not going to judge him for that, but I think losing Germany is a diplomatic failure. So that definitely counts against him. But I think that the full moves were very, very good. So D plus. If you're being super generous, you could give it like a C minus, but it's like right on the cusp around there.
I'm a C minus because I'm known to be super generous. But in all honesty, it's a bit incomplete, especially with the fall moves. If Russia can sort of get Austria geared up against Germany, wonderful. If Austria just pounds Russian dots, horrible. But that's not yet. I'm not going to grade him on what could happen. Grade him on what did happen, and at least the move to Silesia and was good, and tapping Armenia was good. So C minus for me. Turkey, you get an F. Sorry, if you get eliminated, you get an F. I'll save everyone the humiliation of hearing 3 Fs for you, Gianmarco, but it's an F.
I want to say Gianmarco is on my United Cup team, and we just said he's not allowed to have turkey. So
I have Ezio on my United Cup team, and I'm thinking he shouldn't be playing any country.
Gunboat for you, buddy. Ezio cuts and strays on another game. That's great.
Okay, and on things he hasn't even done yet. But fine. It'll be fun. Let's see. Now, the most important question. Who will win Nexus Season 10 main event? Keith, I think you've had who the entire game?
Claire. I've had Claire the entire time.
Claire.
Not picking Claire anymore.
That would be a real bold pick here.
I was hell-bent that the winner would come in the West. I think the strong alliance play was going to carry a duo, and they would race for it because I think that's kind of how they like to play. But I think all trust is lost unless France and Russia can really pull it out. And so in a game where trust is very low, I value Italy's position here.
Is there a time limit?
10.
Okay. For me, I agree. I like Italy's position a lot. I think it's one of the central triple members, and Germany's too spread out for me to pick them, although I can very easily see them doing it. I do think I like Austria's position just that little bit more. I think every alliance structure that there's been so far in this game has been a pro-Austria structure. Like FG moving German units away from Austria. Good. AIR, I've already said I love that as Austria. Now we're in a central triple. again, I really like this as Austria. Like everything is still coming up. Dave Roberts, and I think that he's obviously going to have been negotiating very hard to make this central triple happen. Like I don't think Italy goes west without a lot of agreement with Dave about this, and like he probably would have cut the deal to attack Russia with Germany, and therefore got Germany to attack France as well with Italy. So I think Dave is probably the master behind all of these plans, and yeah, I really enjoy this position.
The truth, players, is we don't actually know who's going to win. We're frequently wrong about that. It's hard not to look at Germany, Austria, Italy, and say one of the three of them will win this game. But just 1 year ago, we were saying France, Russia, or Italy, one of them will win this game. So two of you have gotten back into it in the horse race, but it's just where you're right now in the horse race. And everyone actually, I think, has a shot, but the outside looking in would be France and Russia, and way outside looking in would be England. But if I had to put on my prediction hat right now, I'm going with Italy. Because Italy was someone we thought could win in 2002. Now still someone we think could win in 2003, has shown an ability to shift with the board. But for another reason, which is I suspect Claire is going to give Italy a field day. And if Italy can just get through this turn, and if that's right, we could be looking at a huge Italy right now, which will require shenanigans by Austria to counteract that, if that happens.
I think England has already won. His goal coming in saying that he's just proud to be here, and his first goal is to get an A, which he just did. And his second goal is to not be eliminated. So I think his goals are more realistic. So he's a winner in his own.
Not be eliminated first. But Kellen, yeah, go ahead, McAllis.
Well, in the interests of content, I'm going to disagree with you on two counts there, Ed. First of all, I wasn't here in 1902. I would have been bigging Austria up in 1902 because I love Austria in an air. So Austria hasn't had a transformative year from outsider to insider for me. I was already liking them. And the second is, I actually think England's got a better chance than France right now. Both of them are pretty slim, but I can see England getting a build next year reasonably easily. I cannot see that for France.
Okay. There are no pity wins, Kellen. There's only an actual win. As someone who strives to have wins, aim for the actual win, and it's within your grasp. A lot of things have to go your way. But stay in it. Keep your head down. Keep being you. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. McAllis, anytime you're here, Keith and I, we talk frequently about McAllis. You don't know this, but when we were talking at DipCon, we spent a significant time talking about you at DipCon and to others, and singing your praises and preaching the gospel of McAllis. So for you to be on our show is a giant honor. And as always, you've elevated us. And next time when we have Justin or somebody, we will be lowered again. It's kind of like this game. But thank you for appearing. And good night to you and Keith.
Thank you. I love doing this. It's always a pleasure.